Good evening, guys, and happy Wednesday to all of your sunshiny faces. Well, guys, Matthew is now home for Christmas break, vacation, kind of, I guess, whatever you call it. Also, too, considering that he's graduated, like, it's no longer a break or vacation. Like, he actually starts his job, I think, like on the 8th or something like that. It's shortly after the new year, which was really cool that they were able to, like, kind of, I don't want to say accommodate for that, but, like, you know, again, didn't make him, like, start working, like, right after graduation, since it fell during the holidays anyway. So it's really cool that, like, I guess that all kind of worked out so well that he does kind of get, like, a little bit of a break before he has to actually, like, you know, again, start at a new real job, you know, again, too, right after graduation, which is cool. So he, you know, like I said, just graduated. He ended up coming home today, and we ended up doing a little bit of Christmas movie watching. My mom made, I want to say, maybe she didn't make any more Christmas cookies today. She made Christmas cookies, I think, yesterday, or yeah, I think yesterday. Me and Jack did end up doing a little bit of Christmas cookie making, more like desserts, kind of. It's weird. Every once in a while, I will be really inspired and just really want to cook some type of, like, dessert, like cupcakes or cookies or something like that. But when it comes to the holidays, like, there's so much and so many different kinds of, like, baking things to do that I just don't like doing it. And the cleanup afterwards, because, like, honestly, I feel like when I cook, I especially too do a lot of cooking where it's like minimal dishes. Like, you know, if I'm cooking in the crock pot, it's just the crock pot that gets dirty. You know, if I'm even baking something, a lot of times I use like one bowl and, you know, the baking dish. And again too, I will probably just use the same bowl that I use to mix things up and to eat my food in afterwards. So I'm using very, very minimal, like, dishes. But when it comes to baking, I hate the cleanup from baking, because you need a million measuring cups and measuring spoons and, like, 8 different bowls to, like, just make one batch of cookies. Like, it's kind of crazy. So, and then not to mention too, you need, you know, again, whatever, you know, utensils that you stirred with, and, you know, the blades from the, you know, the mixer or whatever it is, and it's like all that stuff has to be cleaned up too. So I just don't like the mess from baking. Again too, during the holidays and Christmas and stuff like that, all of those, like, desserts, there's so many to make, and there's all kinds of different ones that, like, I'm washing the same bowl like 20 times. And also too, my skin is getting so dry because of how much, like, of, like, washing dishes and, like, all that kind of stuff I've been doing. My hands are drying out, like, really bad. Like, it's weird though, because I've noticed it's been progressively kind of getting worse, like, over the summer even too, like this last year. My hands have also been getting really dry. Like, I have to use a lot more lotion, a lot, like, more recently, but also too, just like, I always notice it gets worse obviously in the winter because the cold weather and all that kind of stuff, but it just seemed like even, like, over the summer was kind of getting worse. So I just feel like my skin is, like, drying out more and more, and, like, I need to keep using more and more lotion, whereas in the past I felt like I didn't need it as much, and maybe I just, like, notice it more now, and, like, I'm trying to be more proactive, because, like, last year it got, like, really bad during Christmas time and just, like, winter kind of in general. So I feel like I'm just trying to be more proactive and, like, attuned to, like, my hands are drying out. I need to, like, dry them, you know, or use more lotion, because I'm noticing that they're getting dry and I don't want it to get to that point. So again, whatever that is though, my hands just, I don't want to be doing dishes any more than I have to. I should probably just use, like, gloves, like, you know, like washing, whatever they're called, like rubber gloves for, like, dishwashing and that kind of stuff. That'd probably help a lot too. But we ended up doing more dessert kind of, like, I don't know, not candies, but just, like, dessert, like, sweet snacks kind of. There's these Rolo, like, you can do them with, like, a walnut on top and make them, like, turtle kind of, you know, use, like, a pretzel, then a Rolo, then you put, like, a walnut on top, and it's kind of like a turtle dessert kind of thing. Matthew really loves them as, like, just Rolo, like, sandwiches kind of, where you just do a pretzel, then a Rolo, then a pretzel on top. So basically, I think you put the pretzels on the baking tray, you put the Rolo on there, you bake them at, like, 250 for, like, 2 or, like, 3 to 5 minutes, I think. I think it's actually on the back of the Rolo recipe. That's just what I use. And then instead though, that's for, like, turtles, so you would put, like, the what's it called, the walnut on top at the end. Instead we just do another, like, of the what's it called, pretzels, and we do, like, the not wafer kind, but, like, the maybe that is what it's called, or the waffle kind So they have like the little, I don't know, like ridges, kind of look like a little waffles. So anyways, that's the kind that we normally end up using, but those are like one of Matthew's that he really likes. So we ended up doing those, and then we also ended up doing puppy chow. But at this time, right when we started making the puppy chow, I was trying to finish up my Christmas gifts, because I showed you guys yesterday how I was making those little mugs with the hot chocolates in them and like everything for like extended family. Well, I was doing, me and Jack, I had him help me hold the like tops of them so that I could do the ribbon on them, because I put them in those little like cellophane baggies kind of thing. And then I had him, I tied them while he just kind of held them closed. So he was helping me with that. Then I was working on, then later on we were working on the you know, we were doing the desserts, and I decided I wanted to put the name tags on them real quick, so I was doing that. And then like Jack was kind of starting measuring out some of the ingredients for the puppy chow. Or it's also called Muddy Buddy Mix, as Jack pointed that out to me today. He was like, did you know it's also called that? I was like, yeah. I normally call it puppy chow, but like, so it's whatever you call it, it's kind of the same thing. It's just, you know, the you know, and like I've even heard it called like reindeer mix or something like that. Like for Christmas time you add M&Ms to it. Jack was very upset because I didn't add M&Ms to it this year. He was like, don't you normally do that? And I was like, I did like 1 year, and then he was like convinced that like it was like that was how you made it. Most of the time when you buy like Muddy Buddy Mix or like puppy chow, they don't have M&Ms in them. It's just like this like special holiday recipe one that I happened to stumble across and added M&Ms to them. And yeah, he didn't know that that's not like, it's not, it doesn't always come with M&Ms, or you don't always have to add M&Ms. So anyways, he had started on that while I was doing the you know, the gift tags, and I was also finishing up wrapping one of the several Christmas presents I have to wrap. So I was working on that, and I was gonna come and join him after we had finished kind of measuring out everything, and just kind of gathering up all the ingredients. Then all of a sudden my dad's standing in the laundry room, and he's been in the laundry room for like 10 minutes now, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, he's just standing there and he's staring at the furnace. And I was like, something weird is going on. Like, my dad has just been like, you know, standing there. We're in the kitchen, so we're like kind of in close proximity. Like, I kind of knew what was going on a little bit. And then my dad's like, I think the furnace is gone. And we're like, what? And he's like, the furnace is not working. And by this point too, he's like not just been in the laundry room, he's been walking around to like a couple different rooms, but he keeps coming back to the laundry room and staring at the furnace. Yeah, our furnace went out. So, but this is a Christmas miracle, I guess, in a way, is that my dad, like I said, he's getting a little kind of freaked out now. And it's funny because me and my mom pointed this out. My dad has some kind of like sixth sense when it comes to the furnace and listening for the furnace and like it making a weird noise. Like, my dad is like, just like pays attention so much to the furnace and like, what is it doing? And like, or like when it's, you know, again, the air conditioning is on or something like that, he's like, something doesn't sound right. You know, like there's a disturbance in the air conditioner or, you know, furnace or something like that. So he noticed something was really weird and was really off, and like the furnace was like, it would kick on, but all it was doing was blowing cold air, and the like light, you know, or like, you know, again, the flame wasn't staying on. And my dad's like, oh my gosh. My mom's like, well, do we need to hire like an emergency, you know, again, like crew to come out to come and take a look at it and fix it and like all this kind of stuff? And you know, it's a fairly newer furnace. We got it replaced, I want to say maybe in 2019 or something like that. I actually do want to say it was like right before the pandemic. And so we're kind of fortunate in that we had that done and taken care of and stuff like that, because our other furnace was like on the brink of like, it really was not working whatsoever. So again, we have this like somewhat newer furnace and all this, and it's not even like 5 years old probably at this point. And my dad's like, I think it went out, and like something is definitely not working on it, or, you know, in it or whatever. So he's like, you know, kind of like taking something apart, like looking at it. Thankfully, one of Matthew's very, very good friends that he's been friends with since like first grade, they've been in the same class together, you know, or they went to the same school, and like, you know, we're really good friends. They played football together, all this kind of stuff. He actually works for like a heating and cooling company, and they were actually the ones that came in, and it wasn't him. I also want to say it's his like girlfriend works with like a like also for one, or one that he worked with or something like that. But they actually did our air conditioning and replaced our air conditioning unit. I want to say it was like maybe in 2021 or 2020 or something like that. It was shortly after we got the furnace replaced. We were getting the air conditioning done. We were doing it like 2 separate times, and so they came out to do that, and it was like so awesome, the company and stuff like that. And it wasn't him specifically though, but he like works, you know, for again a heating and cooling company. And it was really awesome because Matthew was actually literally getting ready to, I think, go and play a video game with him, and he was like, yeah, do you think you would be able to maybe call my dad and like walk him through how to fix our furnace, or figure out maybe what might be the problem, that like we could, you know, if it's something that's fixable, or like do we need to call somebody out? So thankfully, it was one small little thing that actually just needed to be cleaned. It's like a sensor that like tells the furnace basically to like stay on and keep making hot air. And the biggest problem in the whole thing was how difficult it was to get the screw that you have to get out of this like little tiny itty bitty little thing. That was the most difficult part. And he was so awesome too, and being like, well, let me stay on. Like, you know, my dad called him back like a couple times, like in between getting the thing off and like putting it back on and like, you know, doing all this stuff. And so he ended up calling him back at the end and was like, yeah, I think it's working now. He's like, it's finally clicking on, like it's been staying on, all this kind of stuff. And you know, it just involved it being cleaned. But you know, it was really awesome that he was able to, you know, that he was free and was able to actually kind of help my dad through it a little bit, and we were able to get it back on, and we have heat, which is awesome. So again, it was, you know, like a kind of crazy, I don't want to say like freak accident kind of thing, but just like it happened, you know, again too so late at night that, you know, again, we probably wouldn't have gotten anybody out tonight. It was like 9 o'clock at night this happened. And again too, we probably wouldn't have, you know, like we'd have to have paid an arm and a leg to have somebody come out, especially to this close to the holidays, to, you know, get a company to come out and try and fix it. Like, who knows, they might be, you know, super backed up and stuff like that. But having something that was, again, to a fairly small problem, and being able to just kind of talk through it with one of Matthew's really good friends, and, you know, like I said, was able to get our furnace back up. Which, it's funny though, because my dad noticed it before. Like, the temperature in the house never changed. It stayed at like the, you know, thermostat reading. It was like, it stayed right where it normally is. It never went like below that. My dad caught it because he heard it, because he was like, it's making a really weird noise. And like I said, this my dad's like weird sixth sense with the furnace and the air conditioning, that he hears something, he knows something is off. So he went, like I said, to go and check it, and the temperature in the house never even changed. We never like got below like what our thermostat's normally set at, which was pretty cool too. And the whole amount of time my dad took to fix it, which wasn't even the problem, wasn't even, like I said, fixing the thing. It was super easy. But also too, like him helping walk through it, because you're not supposed to actually touch the sensor because of like the oils on your fingers, I guess, kind of, or whatever. So he actually told my dad how to clean it properly and all this kind of stuff, and it's up and was working again. And so again, that would have been something that we probably, again, would have had to pay somebody to come out and look at. And like I said, during the holidays, who knows, that would have been able to, you know, have actually gotten done in a timely manner or anything like that. I mean, without having to pay like, you know, a crazy amount of money right now. And so it was really awesome that, again too, that was not as big of a problem as it possibly ended up being. But like I said, my dad had to stay up a little bit later than he probably was going to, because he was trying to, you know, like I said, figure this out and get it fixed and everything. But you know, again, he was able to just kind of talk through on the phone with Matthew's friend, and they were able to get it all done. And it's funny too, because my dad coached him in football, and like he was kind of like walking my dad through the whole thing. I was like, it's kind of like reverse, like now, like he's coaching you on how to fix our furnace. But anyways, I'm gonna take a shower now and get to bed. I will see you guys in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.